Hi traders, David here from Wave Trader. So this is my first official trade of 2020 and it's on the USdCad. I took this trade on the 4-hour chart and in a previous video I did on the 6th of January, I believe, I talked about this setup that I traded today. So that was on Monday, okay, today being Thursday, and so I discussed about the possibility of this trade happening, and I'm going to go through the motion. And if you want to get further clarification, I recommend that you watch the analysis of the major pairs I did on the 6th of January. So going to the monthly chart here, and I'm just going to delete the calculation at first so that we can see what we need to see. So going to the monthly chart on the USdCad, this is what's going on. So we are just getting off of a bounce here on this area of support. So MACD is quiet and trending along the waterline, so nothing spectacular is going on the monthly chart right now. Now going to the weekly chart, let's see what we see. And you can see here that the market is the bounce off of the support area is being shown clearly, and in that video I talked about the fact that this bounce may get up to the 62% level of this rundown in price. And if we go lower to the daily chart, I will show you what I'm saying. So you can see that the bounce has already started, and what I did was I took the Fibonacci of this place, this top here to the bottom, and I drew the line at the 62%. And now this is the daily Fibonacci. So the possibility of this move getting to this level or even higher, it's very possible, because you can see here that we are in a downtrend, and if we were to take a trend line down like so, you can see that the market actually has the potential to get up to this trend line, and that means it will coincide with the 79%, or it might just peter out at the 62%. We don't know. All I know is that once the market begins to bounce off of a support area like this, you take the retracement of the last preceding trend, the either run up or run down, and then you can determine where the market most likely will end up. So now, based on that, going to the 4-hour chart, I talked about this in the other video, and as at Monday, the market was in this region here, and you can see that we had a 1, 2, 3 wave bottom. Okay, and I actually was talking about the fact that since this was a wave bottom, and if we were to take our second or smaller Fibonacci retracement from here, like so, you can see that our price targets get up to this region, and that's significant because I'm just going to mark that now. So last week, what I was talking about, a few days ago, what I was talking about was the fact that you will wait for the market to give you a conclusive entry signal, and I believe I was using this. Okay, I was using my plain chart. So I was explaining that you have to get an EMA arrow like so, and you have to get a valid wave bottom situation in order to get into this trade. Now, of course, I did not get into this trade early, okay, but you can see that I eventually got in. Now I'm just going to show you a still shot of the trade I took, so you will see what I'm talking about. So this was the trade that I took today, a few hours ago, and you can see that we had a very valid wave bottom situation. I took my profit targets, and I actually placed my profit target just a few pips above the 62% retracement of this move, which I drew and showed you just now. And this move is was good for 42 pips. All right. So going back to the main chart now, you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to switch to the other template. So when I came to the 4-hour chart today, the market was in this region here, just here. exactly here. Okay, and I saw that, okay, there was no point for me to now begin to analyze from the monthly because I'd already analyzed it a few days ago. So I knew that the potential for the market to get up to the 62% region was there, and this was in place as at the time I was getting set to take this trade. Okay, it was here. So what I did was I took the trade there and I placed my stop here, and I just left the system. I logged out. I didn't even check it. I now checked it a few about 2-3 hours later, and this is the result. I was already out of my trade. Okay, I took a 2 lot trade and my profit was about $742, I believe. Okay, so if we plot the APAC again, you will see that okay, I just have to delete this. Let's see what we see here. Do I have, okay, that's one there. Okay, let's plot it again. All right, so you can see that my profit target was set just in this region. Let's see, what was it again? Here, just in between the second and third target. Okay, that was where I set my profit target. So that means my profit target was somewhere in between these two places, and you can see that the market went up strongly and took me out for profit for about 42 pips. And I'm happy with this trade because this is the kind of trade that you look for. This is a textbook definition of what a wave bottom should look like. You can see here we have our EMA cross, we have our valid wave bottom, we had the MACD cross here, and then we had the EMA touching the blue this trigger line, touching the MACD line here, and that actually counts as a cross sometimes, because if you go lower probably to the 15-minute, you see that there's probably a cross there as well. So now the only thing to do now is, if the market decides it's going to go further, we are going to have to wait for a retracement. Okay, for instance, if the market decides to go further, this is the third wave. So what we are hoping for now is the market to begin to undulate in a fourth wave, and depending on where it stops, let's assume that it doesn't go higher than this before it begins to undulate in the fourth wave. How you are going to look for further trade up is by taking the Fibonacci from here to the topmost level, and then waiting at the 62 or preferably the 55% region here, like this. That is if the market is still going to go higher. But if not, if the market now decides to turn around, so what we'll do is you have to wait and see. But now you can see that the MACD is just beginning to cross on the daily chart. So the possibility of this trade actually getting to somewhere in this region is very high, because if we were to take the Fibonacci like I showed you from here on the daily chart, you will see that the 62% level for the daily time frame is in this region. Okay, I'm just going to delete this. Okay, so if I were to go to the 4-hour chart, you will see what I'm saying. So that means that if the market still has the potential to go further here, the best way to get into this trade is to wait for a retracement and then look for an entry point. And if not, if it decides to give us a wave top situation here, then we can begin to think of selling. So that's my take on USDCad, and I hope that it was instructional for you. So I wish you happy trading, and thank you very much.